So I had plans for this evening. You know, I wanted to do a little bit of iRacing, get some laps in, some practice in, maybe a couple races, you know, let my IR tank as it usually does. I also wanted to work on some videos on one of the like 75 new sim racing gear products I have, including the TLCM pedals behind me and the CSL Elite load cell kits that is currently on my rig. But Fanatec had to go and ruin that by announcing a new set of pedals, the Fanatec CSL pedals, similar to the CSL DD that they recently announced that I did a video on that'll be up there somewhere. These are getting rid of the CSL Elite moniker, so you know, we'll have to see if the CSL Elite pedal set, which is still listed on the site, is going to be going away completely, or if they're gonna have these both being out for a little while until the stock of the CSL Elite completely goes away. But I still want to do a little bit of racing, so I'm going to try this slightly different format where I talk about this new product launch and drive around the track. And you know, I'm not Jimmy Broadbent, so that's probably gonna mean I'm gonna wreck a lot, but hopefully that'll be to your entertainment. So let me find my gloves. Where are my gloves?
Hey, gloves. Wow, gloves.
And I guess we'll talk about this as I roam around the track a little bit. So the price they have listed on the announcement is $79 USD and I believe 79 euros. And the article for the kind of press release, they noted that they're aiming to have sub $200 load cell pedals. These are $79.99 for the base price, and a load cell upgrade is going to bring it up to around $200. We can, I guess, assume that the upgrade kit will be less than $120. You know, that's not completely confirmed, but that would be really, really great. That would put it directly kind of in comparison and in competition with the Thrustmaster TLCM pedals, which I have behind me and we'll be doing a dedicated video on. And you know, that's really, really interesting. They're going to have more choice right at that $200 range. Previously, the CSL Elite with load cell kit came out to around $239, I believe. So the base pedal set is going to come with 2 pedals, just like we saw with the CSL Elite pedal set. You're going to get a gas and a brake to get you started with, and then you'll of course be able to upgrade in a few different ways we'll talk about in just one second. That base brake pedal is going to come with a similar kind of polyurethane foam kind of stopper, progressive spring type elements on it. That was present on the CSL Elite, but it also noted in the press release that it will have a stiffer spring. So you'll have kind of a stiffer spring to provide a little bit more force, and then the rubber stopper will give you kind of more brake feel, or polyurethane stopper will provide a little bit more brake feel. That's like I mentioned, exactly what we had on the CSL Elite, but it's also fairly similar to things like the conical mod on the Thrustmaster T3PAs and T3PA Pros, but also you know, what Logitech has been trying to do with their G29 and G920 pedal sets that have the progressive, like, real feel spring inside of them. One really big kind of differentiator here is the fact that this is going to use Hall effect sensors for both gas and brake pedal that come stock in there. You know, that's different than the potentiometers used in the Fanatec CSL Elite pedals. You know, one differentiator of the TLCM pedals from the CSL Elite are that the 2 non-load cell pedals utilize Hall effect sensors. They're HART technology. I believe Fanatec noted that their Hall effect sensor for the pedals will be a 12-bit resolution. And a quick note on resolution, it's one of those things that kind of gives you diminishing returns as you move up from, you know, 8-bit resolution with 255 steps to 10-bit resolution, 12-bit, and then after that you're not gonna be able to kind of notice that fine granular resolution nearly as much. And another big benefits besides resolution of the Hall effect sensors is that they are not electromechanical like potentiometers are. Potentiometers have moving parts inside of them that are rubbing up together, and over time those can erode and cause damage. You can also have things like dust and grease get into them. Oftentimes the pedal assembly has a little bit of lubrication in there, and people have noted that it can kind of gum up the works a little bit. So with Hall effect sensors, you have no sort of electromechanical moving parts to have to worry about, so that could potentially mean that the pedals in those regard will last longer. So now we're going to move on to the optionals, which I think are going to kind of strike different people in different ways. You know, some people are going to say, oh, in order to make these the best, you know, pedal set, you're going to have to pay way over the initial price, or forcing you to, you know, pay for features that they could just include. And I kind of get that, but it feels more anti-consumer to me to force people to buy a single SKU of pedals with all of the features that they might not want and use than it does to offer a bunch of different, you know, options and upgrade paths. That seems like a better kind of consumer type thing for me. You know, I'm sure Fanatec is gonna price things such that they can still make money off of it, but for me, having more choice and more upgrade paths is a good thing. I never want to pay for functionality that I am just never going to use. So for the load cell kit, I did not see anything in the initial PR that noted how heavy the load cell is, you know, how many kilograms it will be. I believe it's like, I'm gonna have to double check, but 75 to 90 on the CSL Elite load cell pedals, maybe 60, I can't quite remember. So I would assume that these will probably be in the same realm, but until Fanatec officially announces what that's going to be, we don't know. It looks like a sort of custom load cell, which is very interesting. It kind of reminds me of the load cells that you see a lot of DIY users use, that are commonly used in bathroom scales. And so that's looking to be quite a bit different than what we've seen from Fanatec with the CSL Elites, which had a load cell which were kind of embedded in the brake pedal arm. Have to see, you know, hopefully they'll offer replacement parts for the load cell. That is, you know, something that's going to be taking a lot of stress, and it could potentially wear out over time. Moving on to the next item I have notes on, the clutch kit. So they didn't note specifically whether or not it had any type of progressive clutch loading, like emulating the feel of a bite point. I would kind of assume that, you know, it would have some kind of special functionality, otherwise there wouldn't be a whole lot of point of releasing it. But the interesting thing for me here is that this is showing a couple different upgrade paths that you can take from the base kit. And obviously you have the load cell, which you can buy the load cell kit. But again, if you are, you know, someone who for whatever reason doesn't like the idea of a load cell because it's too heavy for you, maybe somebody with disabilities, somebody using a setup like at a desk that you can't utilize a load cell because the pedals will literally flip over, which was an issue with the previous load cell Elites and also with the TLCMs. I think any load cell pedal set, it's just gonna mostly likely require using a rig in order to get the maximum potential. Of course, you can use, you know, adjust the brake force on most load cells in order to be able to kind of not have to press really hard on them, but then you're losing out on pedal stroke, which I personally like to have a little bit of pedal stroke, but different people like to have really stiff pedals with almost no travel whatsoever. But you've got that one upgrade path in order to get a 3 pedal set if you want. But then you have, as I mentioned, the clutch kit, which will offer you 3 pedals. So there's a couple different ways that you can, you know, kit these out if you want. Then they mentioned I think they're calling it the like tuning kit with aluminum pedal plates. This seems to be mostly cosmetic, but I can see it being of benefit if you perhaps like doing heel and toe shifting. The stock pedals by default, the base setup, have what I typically see called kind of tilting pedal faces, which are these kind of like rounded plastic pedal faces, which might not be the best for heel toe. So, you know, you've got that option if you want, and again, that's just more choice. Those pedal faces kind of remind me of the pedal faces that come on the Club Sport V3s. The V3s have a few different options, including the kind of Tilton style pedal faces. But in terms of construction, one thing that they really, noted was that they were all metal, which I think they're trying to use as a differentiating factor between their pedals and the TLCMs. One criticism of the TLCMs is that a large portion of it is plastic, but a lot of people noted that, that's one thing that probably kept the price down. And now we have the CSL pedals coming in with a load cell at the same price point, but all metal construction. So that's kind of them, in my eye, sticking it to Thrustmaster a little bit, saying, hey, we're gonna meet you at that price point and we're gonna have perceivably better, production or construction quality and materials. So all metal construction, but they went in a different direction, obviously, from what we've seen with the CSL Elite pedals. Those pedal arms and the heel plate and the base were all what seemed to me to be a kind of cast, I'm guessing, aluminum. These are obviously not that. They look to me to be, I think they said they're all steel, but they look to be kind of like stamped steel sheets, which they've bent into a kind of U profile. The construction of the pedal arms actually kind of reminds me a lot of G25 through the G27, G29, and G923 most recently. But moving from that cast aluminum to this more steel sheet metal style pedal arms is likely one thing that reduces the price. And as I mentioned, for the base pedal set, you're getting two pedals at $20 less than what it costs for the cast aluminum types of pedals. So, depending on the type of steel here, I'm not sure if it's stainless. It does look kind of, chromed out and blingy, but also the gauge of the steel, it could be as strong or stronger than the kind of cast aluminum ones. I'm not a metallurgist or a structural engineer. Maybe somebody who does have a background in that kind of stuff can point out, whether or not they think these will be as strong or stronger. But yeah, different type of construction, likely helping with the cost saving, but staying with the all metal overall construction. In terms of adjustability, it looks like the kind of way these are going to come together have a very similar type of horizontal left to right adjustability for the 2 to 3 pedals as the current CSL Elite do. You can basically, shift those left to right and get the different type of spacing that you want, depending on if you have, 2 pedals in somewhat of a more formula car setup, or if you want to go with a more production car or manual gearbox type pedal set, then you can also do that. A new addition is the ability to adjust the pedal faces up and down. With the CSL Elite, the pedal faces were essentially kind of, just welded onto the pedal arms. So other than the different rubber pedal face covers that they offered on the CSL Elite pedals, and the when you get the LC upgrade kit, they also offered this kind of like grip tape sandpaper type surface that you could stick onto the pedals. You're getting a lot more adjustability there. I already mentioned the upgrade kit that you can get in order to change those out for kind of more V3 style aluminum pedal faces. So, a fair amount of adjustability there. I assume that similar to the CSL Elite, you can do away with the heel plate completely, and that's something that's really helpful for heel toe shifting, is having the gas pedal a little bit offset and more rearward from the brake pedal. So as you push in the brake pedal and have it down, 50 to 75%, you don't have to lift your heel up so much in order to be able to get that heel toe downshift going. In addition to being able to kind of mount them more forward and back, with the CSL Elite, you can also do things like, if you have a setup that allows for inverted pedals, you can invert all of the pedals or just some of the pedals, depending on, maybe you want your clutch to be top or inverted mounted, like a lot of production cars and race cars have, but the other two to be on the kind of floorboard or base of your rig. You'll presumably have those options too. It looks like it actually has a number of different screw holes to be able to mount to your rig. That's one thing I noticed trying to mount the CSL Elite to the Sim Lab GT1 Evo pedal plate, is that depending on the spacing that you had between them, it could be kind of difficult to get the exact mounting that you want. You might have to move the spacing of the pedals in order to account for that, and or drill holes, which depending on your setup and the tools you have might be more or less attractive to you. In terms of compatibility, one thing Fanatec is generally very good about is maintaining backwards compatibility between their newer products and their older products. So a couple people asked about this on the kind of forum or blog post, and several, I think, Fanatec employees chimed in, including the Fanatec community manager, noting that there should be complete backwards compatibility with the new pedals and older wheelbases, as well as older pedals and the new Fanatec CSL DD. So if you have the CSL Elites or any of the older CSL or Club Sport pedals, you should be able to use those on the new CSL DD. And if you pick up these new Fanatec CSL pedals, they'll of course be compatible with the new CSL DD, but also with the CSL Elite wheelbase and the CSW, and I believe the DD and Podium lineup as well. So as far as I can tell, full compatibility on all of the consoles and within all of their kind of ecosystem. So I noted in my CSL DD video that you could pick up a pretty sweet all Fanatec lineup if you pick up the CSL DD, the McLaren V3, McLaren GT3 V2 wheel rim for $200, and then also gets the CSL Elite load cell for an additional $239. So that's going to be around a $789 setup if you chose to come in at that price point or choose those options. But now we have this additional option which gives you just an even cheaper, decent setup, presumably decent. We don't know what the CSL DD or these new pedals will actually be like, but fingers crossed that they will provide a really good driving experience and that they will have really good quality control. But I still consider that a little bit of an enthusiast market segment. Yes, there's setups which cost $3,000, so in comparison to those, these are somewhat of a entry level, but there's still going to be people looking to come into sim racing at the $200 to $400 to $500 price point. And for that, the offerings from Thrustmaster and Logitech in that lower price realm, the G29, G920, G923, the TMX T150, T300, TX wheelbases, you can get a full bundle of with those that have the wheelbase, the wheel rim, and the pedals for $200 to $600. So yes, this is going to be very attractive for people looking to upgrade. This is going to be very attractive for people who are looking to come in maybe a little bit towards the higher enthusiast area, but I don't personally consider it to be a full-on entry-level products. I think these pedals are the closest to that, but when you're talking about $200 load cell pedal set, that's the price that you can get an entire entry-level bundle for. So all right, so I got some driving in. I'm pretty excited about that, but some things I want to hear from you is, what do you think in general about this new product announcement right on the heels of the announcement of the CSL DD? It does seem like Fanatec is citing their newest products towards the lower end of their segment, and it's exciting to me. If they're able to deliver on these products and make them quality products, people have a lot more choice and people have potentially more quality for a little bit less money. I do want to know what you guys think of the looks of this. Some people are looking at them and seeing the resemblance to the Logitech G29 kind of pedal arms, and it's putting them off a little bit. Other people prefer the look of the CSL Elites you know, maybe that all black aesthetic over the chrome. So let me know what you guys think of the looks and the aesthetics in general. What do you think of the feature sets and the whole upgrade path and upgrade options that they're providing? And what are you guys going to be doing with this pedal set? Are you going to pre-order on day one? Do you already have much better pedals so you're not really worried about this? Are you going to wait for reviews to find out whether or not these are going to be really good pedals for you? And then finally, in this announcement, Fanatec noted that they have more coming. So they have at least one other product that they seem to be wanting to announce, at least hopefully in the next few months. And what do you guys think that's going to be? In my eyes, I'm wondering if they'll be releasing a new CSL wheel rim. We saw the CSL universal adapter come out so that you could use third-party wheel rims, but I think that they could have perhaps a sub $200 CSL wheel rim. You know, the Maca wheel rim, the Maca V2 is $200 and it's a great wheel. But if you think about, you know, if they don't make a little replica and they don't have to worry about the licensing from McLaren or any other auto manufacturer or race team, they could potentially lower the price even more. So the standard CSL Elite wheel rim is a round wheel rim. I forget what size it is, but it has your standard kind of console button set on them. So maybe we'll see something in the $150 to $175 range, which would be, you know, even better for being able to get in closer to that entry level point. That would drop the price, you know, closer to $600 for a direct drive wheelbase, the low tail pedal kit from the new low tail pedal kit, and a, you know, $150 to $175 wheel rim. So I think that would be awesome. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if I missed any details or if I got something wrong. This is YouTube, so I'm sure there are going to be people jumping down my throat about something I misstated in this like half-an-hour video. But thank you guys for watching. I'm really excited about all these new products that we're seeing in the sim racing ecosystem. I'm hoping it'll expand, that they'll be able to meet demand, and that they force Thrustmaster and Logitech to also step up their game. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. Peace. Blah, 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 blah.